So yesterday we have seen about all these things till this keyword final. Okay. Now let us see about Java this keyword. So what is this keyword? Okay. I have explained like yeah, all these things, but if you go for like an interview, generally like they won't ask you like all these things in this keyword. But if you can learn this, that is good. Okay. Now Java, what does it mean by this keyword in Java? This means it represents the current object, current class object. Just remember that this keyword means this represents the current class object. Okay. So if it is a current class object, okay, if it is a current class object, what we can do using that object? We can access the instance variables of the current object. Okay, or we can access the instance method or constructor. Okay, let me show you this example. Okay, where exactly we use this keyword. Okay, I'm creating a new package here, and the package name is let us say this keyword. Okay, so in this one I'm creating a new class here. Okay, in this one I'm saying this example is my class. Okay, and I'm creating it with public static void main. Click finish. Okay, so this is the one. So let me close all these things. Okay, so let me close this one. Okay, let us say I have some variables here which are okay, uh, int a, comma int b. Let us say these are the two variables I have created and I haven't initialized them. Okay, now in this one I'm creating a constructor. So how do we create a constructor? How do we create a constructor?
By using same as a class name.
Yeah, so public, I'm using the same one. Constructor doesn't have a return type. Okay, now I'm this is an argumented constructor I'm creating. So I'm saying int c, comma int d. Okay, and within this constructor, I'm initializing these instance variables. Okay, why do we use a constructor? A constructor is used to initialize the instance variables of the class, right? B is equal to D. You understand this one? I'm assigning the value of C to A and the value of D to B. Okay, now in this one, what I will do is I will create an example here, an object here. Okay, so this example object 1 equals to new this example. Okay, and this is throwing an error. Why this is throwing an error? Because we have an argument constructor here. So you have to pass the argument constructor. We don't have a default constructor here. Okay, when there is an argument constructor, okay, Java doesn't try to create a default constructor. So you have to pass the arguments here. Let's say I'm passing 5 and 10. Okay, what happens now? The values of C and D will become 5 and 10 respectively, and A and B will become 5 and 10 because we are assigning the value of C to A, D to B. Okay, now if I try to use this one, system.out.println, okay, system.out.println, A, object 1.A. Okay, similarly, system.out.println object 1.b. Okay, understand this one? Okay, so let me run this one, run a Java application. Okay, 5 and 10. Okay, so until this point, we know all these things, right? Any questions so far on this one, on this program? Okay. Now let us say I'm making these values c comma d as a comma b. Okay, a comma b, and I'm assigning a comma b. So what happens in this case? Any idea what happens in this case?
Yeah,
Okay.
compiler will get confused.
Yeah. So
Which A?
yeah, so it will get confused. I mean, it won't get confused actually. But here, since these variable names are same as this instance variables names, it won't really assign these values to these values. It will still remain as a is equal to a, and b locally their values becomes okay 5 and 10 locally within this method, within this constructor. But when it comes out of this constructor, these are instance variables. So these values remain as default values. These values remain as default values. What are the default values for these ones? For these instance variables? What are the
A
default
and B.
values?
0, 0.
No. But what are
It is
the
0.
default? Yeah, 0. But because this is an integer data type, okay, it is 0. So if I run this one now, okay, if I run this one, what happens? 0 and 0. Okay, it won't assign these values that we are passing to these instance variables because these names are same as instance variables. So what we should do? We have to refer to these instance variables. How do we refer them? By using this keyword. So when I say this dot a and then this dot b, okay, this represents the current class object. Okay, so when I say this dot a, it represents this variable a. Similarly, when I say this dot b, it represents this instance variable. Now these values, this dot a means this value, this a value becomes, it will be assigned to the value that we are passing here. Similarly, this dot b, that means this instant variable b becomes it will be assigned to the value that we are passing it here. Now, if we run it again, run as Java application, okay, 5 and 10. So, what does it mean by this? This represents the current class object. Okay, so if these variable names are same between these instance variables, and not only this one, anywhere else, okay, if you use this, you can access the instance variables and also you can access the instance methods. Okay, now this dot a, okay, now we have okay, we are good with this one. Okay, now let us say within this main method, I'm creating like some more other variables. A is equal to 100. Okay, let's int a is equal to 100, int b is equal to 200. Okay, understand this one? So in this case, what happens? Okay, let us say I'm using it like this. So we have created an object here, but in this case, okay, even though we have these instance variables here, okay, even though we have this, let's not do this one. Okay, let me take, I will create a new method here. Otherwise, let me, okay. So let us say we have these two variables. So in this case, what happens? Okay, what values it will get? It won't get the instance variable name values, but it will get the local variable values. If I run this one, a and b, it will present the local variable values, which are 100 and 200. Okay, because within this one, okay, we have created new variables with the different values, the same variable names we are giving. But what if, like, we want to get these values? Then also you can use this. Okay, this, sorry, this cannot be used in a static method. I will come to that point. Okay, that's why. Okay, let me create another method. Okay, public, public, let me print this one. So I'll give like void, okay, display method. Display method is there. Okay, in this one, let us say I'm assigning like these values. Control X. Okay, this one. Okay, system.out.println A. Okay, system.out.println B. Okay, so now let us say I'll access and let me click on this one. Okay, object one dot display method. Okay, let us say if I don't have these values, what happens? If I don't have these values and I'm calling this object one dot display, what are the values that will be so what happens here? It goes into this method, display method, and it will print the values of A and B. But what are the values of A and B here now? What are the values of A and B? Anyone?
No, I think this is a default value.
No, not the default value. See, we have created an object by passing 5 comma 10, right? So AB values become 5 and 10.
It's five. Yeah, five.
Yeah. And then we are calling this method. So it prints 5 and 10. Okay. So 5 and 10. Now what I'm doing is I have created some local variables within this method. Okay. Display. So what happens now? What are the values of A and B it prints? Anyone? Okay. So here we have created an object and we have initialized the instance variable values to 5 and 10. Okay. And we are calling this display method. So it goes to display method. Okay. Now again we have created two local variables A and B. Okay. Two local variables A and B. So when we try to print these values A comma B, the local variables take preference than the instance variables. So it prints 100 and 200. Okay, run as Java application. Okay, so 100 and 200. But I would like to these are the local variable values. Okay, but I would like to print these values, the instance variables. Okay, so in that case, what I can use, I can do is I can use this dot A and this dot B. Okay, since we have used this means the current object. Okay, so it gets these values using the current object. What you can do, you can access the instance variable. So this dot A means it will give you the instance variable value. Okay, so now if I run this one, run as Java application, and it is 5 comma 10. Do you understand this one? See, in the constructor, we have used the same variable names. When we are using the same variable names, okay, this is what we do. This dot A is equal to A, this dot B is equal to B. Since we have used this, okay, it will access this instance variable. Okay, that's why these values, even though the variable names are same, these values will be assigned to the instance variables. Similarly, okay, we have created a new within a method. We have created new variables. Okay, new variables, but these variable names are same as this instance variable. So when you try to access these variables, you will get these local variable values. If you want to get the instance variable values, we will use this. Okay, this dot A and this dot B. Do you understand this one? Any questions so far? Anyone? Uh,
That is clear, Subbu.
Okay, so this is where we use this one. Just remember that we cannot use this keyword in a static method. That is why if I try to say something like instead of creating an object, if I say something like system.out.println this dot a, this dot a, okay, it throws an error here. Cannot use this in static context. We cannot use this keyword within a static method. That is why say main is a static method, right? That is why when I try to use this keyword within main method, it is throwing an error saying that we cannot use this in static context. Okay, we have to use only in non-static methods, instance methods. We can use on this only in the instance methods. Okay.
Is this some rule or there isn't some special logic behind this?
Yeah, I will tell you. Okay. Why this cannot be used, this keyword cannot be used in a static method. Okay. Let me ask you this one. What does it mean by this? This means, anyone? What does it mean by this?
Yeah, this is an keyword which is denoting the instance variables of a class.
No, not instance variables. This represents the current class object.
Current.
Okay, current class
Okay,
object. Okay, this because this is the current class object, you can access the instance variables and instance methods. Okay, so this represents the current class object. But what does it mean by static? Static means
we don't
what
have to create the object for static.
no, but what does it mean by static? Static means
A static
something that belongs to the class.
belongs to class. Yeah,
Okay, something that
yeah,
belongs to class. This represents the current class object. Okay, when you say this means the current class, but current class object. But static means something that belongs to the class. They both are different. That is why it won't allow you to use this in the static method. Got it? See, this means current class object, something that is object. Okay. Static means
okay.
something that belongs to the class.
Yes,
Okay. These both are different actually. That's why Java doesn't allow you to use this keyword in a static method. Okay.
okay, okay,
Yeah. Okay. So okay, so this is about this keyword. Okay, there are like other instances. Okay, okay, now let us say I have another instance method here, which is public void. Let us say test method is there. Okay, test method is there, system.out.println. Okay, I'm just saying I'm test. Okay, this is an instance method. I can access these instance methods, okay, using this keyword. So here I will say simply this dot test. So in this method, in the display method, we are calling this test method again. So it will go and print I am test again. So if I run this one, run as Java application. Okay, so it is printing I am test also. So we can use this keyword to access, because this means the current class object. We can use this keyword to access the instance variables and also instance methods of a class. Okay, so can be used to refer any instance members of the current object. Instance members means either variables or methods of the current object from within an instance method or a constructor. Okay, we can use it like within a constructor. Within an instance method or a constructor. Okay, this keyword can also be used inside method calls to call other methods of the same class. So we have seen both of these. Okay, so we have seen how to access the instance members of the current object. Instance members means variables. This keyword can also be used inside methods to call another method. We have seen this one. Okay, we have called another instance method from another method. Okay, this keyword can be used inside the constructor to call another overloaded constructor in the same class. Okay, let us say I'm creating, okay, I'm creating another one public. Okay, another constructor I'm creating public. This example, I'm creating a default constructor, and I'll say system.out.println I am, okay, default constructor. Okay, now since I have created a default constructor here, okay, I can create an object for the default constructor as well. Okay, here, okay, I can create a default constructor now. Okay, so what happens in this case? So, that means okay, so when I execute this one, let me comment this argument constructor for the time being. Okay, so what happens in this case when I say this one? So object will be created. While the creation of the object, it goes and executes this the default constructor and it prints I am default constructor. Run as Java application. Okay, I am default constructor. For example, okay, I want to call this another constructor from this default constructor. So in that case I can use this keyword, but since I am using this one, I have to pass these values to this constructor because this is an argument constructor. So how do we pass this? In brackets put 5 comma 10. Okay, now it will call this constructor as well. Let me print something here to make sure that, like, we are calling this method. So I am argument constructor. Okay, argument constructor. So what happens in this case? Okay, when we create a normal object, it will call this method, this constructor. Since we have this method, though, so it will go and call this argument constructor first and assign the instance variables a and b values to this 5 and 10, and then it prints I am argument constructor, and then it comes back, okay, and then it executes I am default constructor. So if I run this one now, run as Java application. Okay, I am argument constructor, I am default constructor. Okay, do you understand this one or any questions?
So like why we are passing the value like
Because
in
we are
default
trying to
constructor?
call an argument constructor. Okay,
So
when you
if
are trying to,
if we don't assign that value, then it won't get called. Only one time one constructor will get called. It is like this.
yeah, it is only like, when you are creating a normal object, it will call this default constructor.
Okay.
Okay, and from the default constructor, I am trying to call an argument constructor.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so since I am trying to call this an argument constructor, using this I have to pass these values, the arguments I have to pass. That's why I'm passing this 5 and 10. Okay, okay, so we have seen, like, three different things here. Okay, the first one is this can be used to access the instance members. Okay, that means instance variables, we have seen that one. Okay, and the next thing is, see, the instance variables is, see here, within this constructor we are accessing these instance variables using this. Okay, and what is the next thing? The next thing is we can use this constructor to access, sorry, we can use this keyword to access another instance method, another instance method. Okay, for example, if you see, we have, like, two instance method. One is public void test and another one is public void display. We are using this keyword here to call this instance method. Okay, see, this is nothing but an object only. Okay, we are using an object to call the instance methods. Okay, this is nothing but an object, current class object, that's all. And using this we are trying to access the instance variables and instance methods, that's all. It's only difference. Okay, and the third one is this can be used to call one constructor from another constructor. So we are calling this constructor from this constructor. Okay, this is what this keyword is. Okay, and when we are using this keyword within a constructor, this always should be the first one, should be the first one. Okay, for example, let us say I'm taking this one, okay, and I am putting it in the next statement. See, this throws an error. Okay, constructor call must be the first statement in a constructor. Okay, so this when we are using this within a constructor, that always should be the first statement in that constructor. Okay, so do you guys understand about this keyword? Okay, there are, like, three ways, like, which we can use this. What is the first one? Why do we use this? What does it mean by this actually?
This is a current class object
Yeah, current class object. So since it is a current class object, what is the first way of using this? What can we use this for?
to call instance variable.
Yeah, to call instance variables. And what is the second one? to call?
uh, to call argumented constructor.
No. Second one is to call the instance methods from a different method.
Okay, from calling instance. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is the third one? We can use this keyword to call another constructor from
Yeah.
from a constructor. From one constructor, we can use this keyword to call another constructor. But if
Yes.
we use this keyword in a constructor, it should be the first one,
First
first
order.
statement in the constructor. Okay. So these are the same
Okay.
things I have explained here. Okay. This can be used to refer any instance members of the current object, because this means it is a current object. So we can use this keyword to call the instance members. Similarly, this can also be used inside methods to call another method from the same class. Okay, and this keyword can be used within a constructor to call another constructor in the same class. Okay, so these are the three ways we can use this keyword. Just remember that this means current class object. So if you create an object, what are the things that you can do using an object? You can access the instance variables, you can access the instance methods, okay, and uh, and those things you can do within current class object, right? So this is nothing but the current class object. This way you can do the same things. You can access the instance variables, you can access the instance methods, and also it can be used within the constructors to call other constructors. But if you use this keyword within a constructor, it should be the first statement in the constructor. Okay, any questions here? I think everyone understood this one, right? Let me know if you
Yeah.
have any.
Yeah. It is clear now.
Okay,
Okay, clear.
yeah, okay, fine. Now, sorry. Okay, now let me go into the what is that interview questions here. Okay, they are not very much like these are the three things generally people will ask you. Okay, what does this keyword refer to? This means it refers to the current object. How can we use this keyword? We have seen or can be used to refer any instance members of the current object, and this keyword can be used inside methods to call other methods of the same class. This keyword can be used inside the constructor to call another overloaded constructor of the same class. Okay, so these are the three ways we have seen. Can we use this keyword in a static method? We cannot use
No.
because static means
Yeah.
something
We
that
can't use.
belongs to the class. This means current object. They both are different. Okay. No, we can't use this keyword in static method because static method belongs to the class. Yeah. So static method means that method belongs to the class, but this is current object. That's why we cannot use. Okay, can we use this keyword to access static methods? Yes, this is nothing but an object. Okay, you can still use this keyword to access static methods, but okay, the best way is use the class name. Okay, okay, can we use this method? This method, yeah, okay, okay, can we use this keyword? Can we use this keyword in main method? Can we use this keyword in main method?
No. No. We can't use because it is static method.
Yes, main is a static method. That's why you cannot use this keyword in main method. Okay, what are the uses of this keyword? What are the uses of this keyword? Okay, so we have already seen this one. Okay, we can this must be used to access the instance variables if both instance and local variable names are same. Okay, if both local and instance variable names are same, then we can use this to access the instance variables. Okay, we can use this keyword in constructor overloading. Okay, this is fun. You can tell these same three things here also. Okay, can we pass this as a parameter of a method? So these are all very low questions. No one will generally ask you all these questions, but yeah, we can still pass this as a parameter in a method. Can we use this to refer static members? Yes, we can. Is it possible to use this in static blocks? Okay, so can we use this in static blocks? We cannot. Again, static blocks means something why do we use static blocks? Anyone? We have seen this one already. Why do we use
Yeah,
static blocks?
the variables when it is like initiated in a block for a kind of a loop and ends there only. Don't have any kind of a significance after that.
No, no, no. What is a static block? Why do we use
To
static
execute a
blocks?
code before main method.
Yes, but why do we use it mainly? Static block? Okay. So what is a constructor? Why do we use a constructor mainly?
To assign a value
We initialize the
to the class,
variables
Yeah, which
before
to
variables?
assign
Which variables to initialize the
static
variables?
variables.
Constructor. Constructor
Yeah,
is
we
the
Instance variables.
instance variables to initialize the instance variables. Okay. Similarly, if we want to initialize the static variables, we use static blocks. Okay, just take a look
yeah,
at that one. We use static keyword and then flower brackets. Okay, so is it possible to use this in static blocks? No, because this is current class object. Static block means something that belongs to the class. That is why we cannot use this keyword in the static block. Okay, the main question from this one, like, what does it mean by, like, I mean, this keyword. Okay, this keyword belongs to the current object. This means current object. Okay, current class object. And in which places we can use this keyword. Okay, we can access the instance variables of the class. We can access the instance methods of the class within it from a different instance method, and also we can use it to call a constructor from a different constructor. Okay, so these are the main questions that you get from all this keyword. Okay, okay. Now we have seen, like, this keyword. Let us see about super keyword. Okay, what does it mean by super keyword? Okay, this means the current class object. Super means the parent class object. Okay, when you have inherited classes, a parent class and a child class. Okay, in the child class, we can use this to represent the child class object, but we can use super to represent the parent class object. Okay, this means current class object. Super means parent class object. That's all you have to remember. Okay, the super keyword refers to the objects of immediate parent class. Okay, super keyword is used for to access the data members of the parent class when both parent class and child class have members with the same name. Okay, let me show you this example. Okay, now let me go here. I am creating a new package here, and the package name is super package. Okay, okay, this is the package name. Okay, now in this one I'm creating a class called parent. Okay, so this is the parent class. Okay, and in this parent class I'm declaring, like, some variables, instance variables. Int a is equal to 10, int b equals to 20. Okay, and I'm using the some method. Okay, some method public static void main string args. Okay, system.out.println. Hi. Okay, now I'm creating another class in this one, which is a child class. So I will say child. Okay, I'm using main method here. Okay, print. Okay, so since this is a child class of the parent class, what I have to use? I have to use extends keyword and parent. Extends keyword and parent. Now this child class. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me make this one CHILE. Okay, let me modify the name. Okay, refactor, rename child. Okay, it is taking more time. Okay, so finish. Okay, so now we are extending this child class to parent class. So this child class has become the child class of this class parent. Okay, so now what I can do, I can access this parent class. variables by creating an object for the child class itself. Okay, so if I say, let us say I'm creating an object for the child class. Okay, child c1 or like an object one, I'm saying object one equals to new child. Okay, I have created this one. So I'll say system.out.println. Okay, object one dot. Okay, it shows me the parent class variables. Okay, because this is the inheritance concept, I can access the parent class instance variables using child class object, right? So if I run this one or run as Java, okay, 10 and 20. Let me create like, let me do one more thing here. So what I will do is I will say something public void display method. I'm saying, okay, display method I'm creating. Okay, and I will move this one to this display method. Okay, control C. Okay, here I will create like another object, and here I will call this method a name directly, which is object2 dot display. Okay, so what happens in this case? What are we doing? So we have in the main method we have created an object, and using this object I'm calling this instance method display. Okay, so in this one what I'm doing, I'm creating an object for this child class, and using this child class object I'm accessing the parent class variables, right? Because this is inheritance, this child class is extending the parent class. I can call this parent class variables a and b. So if you see, these are parent class variables a and b in the child class using the child class object. Okay, so now if I execute this one, run as Java. Okay, it is 10 and 20. You got this one, right? Until this point you are clear. We have seen all these things, inheritance.
Yeah, it is clear.
Okay, now let us say I have these same variables. Okay, the same variables in the child class also. So in this case, let us say these are 100 and 200. So what happens in this case? What happens? What will be the values of like A and B that will be printed?
100 and 10,
100
100
and
and 200.
200, because the child class variables, we have the same name with the child, so it calls these child class variables. Okay, run as Java application, and 100 and 200 we are getting, but I want to get this parent class values A and B. Okay, not these child class values. Since we have like these are instance members, I can call this directly. I don't need to use this one. Okay, because these are instance variables can be called within the class directly within an instance method. This is also an instance method, and these are instance variables, so I can call this directly. But here now I don't want this child class instance variables. I want a class instance variable. Okay, in that case I can use the parent super dot a. Okay, super dot b. Okay, now if I execute this one, will print 10 and 20, because super means something that super means it's the parent class object. So since we are using a parent class object here, super.a, super.b, it is not getting this local instance, child class instance variables. It is getting the parent class instance variables. Do you guys understand this one, or any questions? Super. What does it mean by super? Super means means it's the parent class object. So we can use super to get the parent class instance variables. Similarly, okay, okay. Let us say I have some method here. Okay, public. Okay, void. Let me see this one. Okay, display is there. Let us say I'm taking like some method test. Public void test. Okay, you say system.out.println. Okay, I am test method from parent class. Okay, I am test method from parent class. I have some method like this. Okay, an instance method in the parent class like this. So Now, since I have an object here, what I can do, I can call the parent class instance variables using this object. Okay, so I can use object dot test here. Now, if I run this one, what happens? It means I am test method from the parent class, right? We can use the child class object to call the parent class methods because we have the inheritance. Okay, now let us say I have overridden this method. Let us say I have overridden this method in the child class. Okay, so I am test method from child class. Okay, so in this case, what happens when I call this method? It will call the overridden method. We have seen this one in the inheritance. Okay, now if I run this one, okay, this will say I am test method from the child class because we have overridden this method, test method, so it is calling the child. But now I don't want to use this one. Okay, since this is again an instance method, I can call this directly this instance method within another instance method. So I don't need to use an object here. So if I use this one, run as Java application, okay, it says some test method from the child class. It calls the overridden method from the child class. Now, but I don't want to call this overridden method. I want to call the parent class actual method. So in those cases, I can use super keyword. Okay, so now if I execute this one again, okay, I'm test method from the parent class. Do you understand this one?
Yes, it is clear, sir.
Okay, so since super is a parent class object basically, so we can use super keyword to access the parent class instance variables or parent class methods that were overridden in the child class. Okay, because when parent class method is overridden in the child class, if you create an object for the child class, then you can access only the child class overridden method, not the parent class actual method. So if you want to still call the parent class actual method, you can use super keyword. Okay. Okay. So to access the data members of the parent class when both parent class and child class have members with the same name. So if you see both the child class has instance variables with the same name and parent class has instance variables with the same name. Okay. In this case, what happens if you try to call these instance variables A and B, it will get the child class instance variables. But if you want to get the parent class instance variables A and B, you can use super keyword. Okay. Now, to explicitly call, okay, I will come to access the method of a parent class when child class method has overridden that method. So we have seen that here we have a test method, okay, and this test method is overridden in the child class. Okay, so if you try to call this method, it will always get you this overridden method, not the parent class method. But if you still want to use call the parent class method that was overridden in the child class, you can use super keyword. Okay, that is about super keyword. Okay, now this is another to explicitly call the no argument and parameterized constructor of the parent class. So if you want to call the parameterized constructor, okay, let me show you that example here. So accessing the parent class or argument constructor. Okay, yeah, okay. So let us say in this parent class I have, let me take out these values. Okay, these are the ones. Okay, so public uh, constructor I'm creating. So it is parent. Okay, let us say this is my default constructor. A is equal to some 10 and B equals to, okay, some 20. This is my default constructor for the parent. Let us say I have some argument constructor also, public parent. Okay, some let's say like a C comma int D. Okay, this is what I am using, and A is equal to C. Okay, and B equals to D. Okay, these are some constructors. Okay, for the parent class, this is the default constructor and this is an argument constructor. Now let us say I have I'm creating the constructor here for the child class as well. Okay, so for the child class, I'm saying public child okay, public child. I want to call the parent class argument constructor. Here, I want to call the parent class argument constructor by passing some values. Okay, let us say I'm saying system.out.println. I am child class constructor. Okay, if I want to call the argument constructor of the parent class, I can use super. And since I am calling the argument constructor, I have to pass this value c comma d. So here I'll say some 300 comma 400. Okay, so I can also call the parent class okay argument. So let us say I'll say that like system.out.println. Okay, I am parent class argument constructor. Okay, so now if I see this one, I have used from the child class constructor, I am calling the parent class argument constructor. So whenever create an object for this one, okay, it will call this parent class argument constructor. So if I run this one, I can see that, okay, I am parent class argument constructor. I am parent class argument constructor because in the main method, if you see, we have created an object here. So when we create an object, it will call the default constructor. So this is the default constructor. In the default constructor, we are calling the parent class argument constructor. So it is printing I am parent class argument constructor. Similarly, in this method also, we are creating an object for the child class. So it will call this child class constructor. So within the child class constructor, I am calling this parent class argument constructor. That's why it is executing this one here also. And finally, yeah. So this is how we use the super keyword. Okay. So do you understand this one, the super keyword? Or any questions?
Yeah, it
Just
is clear.
okay. Just practice this one, then you will understand. See. Okay. So now what is super keyword? What does it mean by super keyword?
Yeah,
Refers
it
to the
is.
parent class object.
Yes, so super keyword means it refers to the parent class object. Okay, now the parent class object. Okay, now what can you use super keyword for?
To call the parent class or like in the child class. Uh,
No. See, come
to
come one by one. Okay, so what can okay since super is a parent class object, so what can we use super keyword? We can use super keyword to access the parent class instance variables when we have the same variables in the child class also. Okay, so parent class instance variables, we can access them using super keyword. And what is the next one?
we can call the argumented constructor of a parent class into the child class by
Yeah,
using
so
super
child class,
keyword.
yeah, in a child class constructor. Okay, and what is the next one?
We can call the methods also with same name in the
Yeah,
parent class and the
parent.
child class.
Yeah, we can call the parent class methods, instance methods when they are overridden in the child class. Okay, because if we use like if it is overridden, generally we'll get the overridden method only. But if we want to get the parent class original method, okay, we can use super keyword. Okay, those are the three ways we use super keyword. Okay, just remember that if anyone asks you like only those things they will ask you. Okay, what is the super keyword? Why do we use super keyword? That one. Now coming to the examples. Okay, sorry, interview questions. So what is super keyword? Super keyword refers to the parent class object. Super keyword is used for these things. Okay, these things, these three things we have already discussed. Okay, how are this and super are used within constructors? Okay, how do we use them? We can use this keyword to call the current class argument constructor. We can use super keyword to call the parent class argument constructor. Okay, this is used to invoke a constructor of the same class. Super is used to invoke a super class constructor. I mean parent class constructor. Okay, we have seen this, right? Okay, so what are the differences between this and super. The main difference is this means the current class object, super means the parent class object. Okay, so this can be used the current class instance variables or current class constructors or current class instance method. Since super means parent class object, we can use this to access the parent class instance variables, parent class instance methods, and also parent class argument constructors. Okay, so that is the difference between this and super. Why can yeah, why can't we use uh, just try this one. If you try to use super keyword in the main method, it throws an error. Why? Any idea why super keyword throws an error, like if we try to use in main method?
because it is a class object
Yeah,
of an
super
parent
source.
class.
Super means is the parent class object. Main method is static. That means it belongs to the class. That is why we cannot use super in the main method. Okay. Write some points about super keyword in Java, like okay, so the same things that we have discussed. Okay, those points we can write. Okay, can we access parent class variables in child class by using super keyword? Yes, we can do that. Can we call parent class method in subclass by using super keyword? Yes, we can call the parent class methods in the subclass by using super keyword. Okay, can we call parent class constructor and subclass constructor by using super keyword? So we have seen all these examples, right? We have seen all these things. Okay, can we use both? Yeah, this one thing. Okay, whenever we have seen that, like whenever we want to use this keyword in a constructor, what did we say? What is that condition that we have? That should be the first
Parent
statement.
class.
Okay, similarly, super keyword also, if you are trying to use it within a constructor, that should be the first statement. Okay, if you use this keyword, that should be the first statement. If you use super keyword, that should be the first statement within a constructor. Okay, if you try to do it something like, okay, like this, let's say I'm using it as a second statement. This one will give an error saying that constructor call must be the first statement in a constructor. Okay, it will give you an error. Okay, now the question is, can we use both this keyword and super keyword within a constructor? Can we use both?
Yes, we can use
How? Because
like
No,
with the child, if we having a two similar uh, variable name in the
no.
child class also can.
The question is, can we use super keyword and this keyword within a constructor? We cannot,
No, I think
because
we cannot use.
both of those should be the first statements. The condition here is, if you use this keyword within a constructor, that should be the first statement. If you use super keyword within a constructor, that should be the first statement. So you cannot use both in the same constructor, because we cannot make both of those super and this as first statements within this one, right? That is why you cannot use.
Yes.
So
yeah,
that is why you
and
cannot use.
technically, Subodh, this refers to the current and super refers to the parent. So we
Yeah,
cannot have
we can.
we cannot have the both of them in the same constructor.
No, that's not the reason. See, uh, the condition is that if you use super, it should be the first statement in the constructor. If you use this, that should be the first statement in the constructor. If you try to use both, you cannot make both as the first statements in the constructor, right? It's not possible. That is why you cannot use them. No, it's not possible in Java. We cannot use both this and super keyword together in Java constructor, because this and super should be the first statements in any Java constructor, and we cannot do that. That's why you cannot use both this and super in a constructor. Okay, both. Okay, what is the difference between this and super? So we have already seen this one. Okay, can we use super keyword in static method of a subclass for calling the parent class method? Okay, can we use super keyword in a static method? We cannot, because super
No.
means parent class object. Static method means that belongs to the class. Okay, that's why you cannot use super keyword in a static method. Okay, so that is about this and super keyword. Okay. Okay, the next main important topics that we have are these ones. Okay, strings, arrays, collections. Collections is a very important topic. Exceptions, yes, people might ask you like some questions, but main questions the you'll get is like on this collections framework. Let me see like what that time. Okay, you still have one more hour. Okay, exceptions file operations. Okay, in Java database connectivity, we don't use it much actually in our scripts, and these are like some extra things. Okay, now let me start with strings. Okay, so you have already seen like some strings, right? So basically what is a string? A string is nothing but anything that is in double quotes is nothing but a string, right? That's what we have seen so far. Okay, where we have used like a string name is equal to something, some Rajesh or something. That's what we have seen. Okay, so anything that is within a double quotes is a string. That's what we have seen strings. But a string is generally defined as a series of characters, or it's an array of characters. Okay, this is what a string is. Okay, so if you see arrays, we will come back. Okay, we'll see it in the next chapter. But an array of characters is nothing but a string. Okay, for example, I have an array of characters here, which is char. Okay, it should be like this. Okay, I have char, should be small c again. Yeah, char. Okay, let me show you. Let me give you an example. This one. Okay. So let me create a new package here, and the package name is okay strings package. Okay, so if I open a new class, I'm creating a new class here, and I'm saying the class name is string example one. String example one, and I'm using main method here. Okay, so now let us say, what did I say? String is a array of characters. So generally we create an array of characters like this. Let's say ch1, okay, is equal to character is within something in a single quote. So I'll say j, okay, comma a, comma v, comma
Mhm.
a. Okay, so this is an array. An array is declared like this. Okay, for now,
యాంటీ
just
లేదు నిన్న రాత్రి ఒకసారి నేను కాల్ చేస్తా అంటే
Amar,
అంటానన్నారు.
Amar, can you go on mute? See, yeah. Okay, fine. So this is like char. Okay, this is an array of characters that we have. Okay, so this is an array is declared like this for now. Just remember this one. Okay, so we'll use a square brackets. Okay, after a data type, and we'll give a name to that array. Okay, and we'll use flower brackets to initialize that array. So this is nothing but an array of characters. Okay, so you can use okay string str is equal to new string of, we can pass this array of characters to that string. So if I say string str1 is equal to new string of ch1. Okay, so I can create an array using an array of characters. So now if I say system.out.println str1, okay, str1 and run as Java application, okay, it will print you JAVA Java. Okay, so what is a string? A string is nothing but an array of characters, you can say, or something which is in double quotes. We'll come to that. Okay, so here this is the first way of creating a string. Okay, so I have created an array of characters here. Okay, we'll see what are arrays in the next chapter. Okay, so I have created an array of characters here, and I have created a string here. String str1 is equal to new string of ch1. Okay, system.out.println str1. This is the first way of creating a string. What is the next way? We can directly use like something in the double quotes. Okay, so I'll say something like string str2, okay, is equal to, let's say, selenium. Okay, let's say selenium. So system.out.println str2, I can say. I can directly put it something in the double quotes and I can print that one. So run as Java application and it is selenium, it is printing. Okay, this is one way of creating a string. What is the another way of creating a string? We can use new keyword. Okay, so something like string str3 equals to new string of, let's say, hello, something. I'm saying hello. Okay, system.out.println str3. Okay, so now if I run this one, run as Java application, okay, and it will print you Java, Selenium, and hello. Okay, so these are the different ways of creating a string. Okay, how do we create, what is a string? Basically, a string is nothing but an array of characters. Okay, how can we create a string? We can use an array of characters and we can create a string. String str1 is equal to new string of ch1. Similarly, I can use anything within a double quotes. Okay, this is called string literal. Okay, and I can use string literals also. Third one is I can use new keyword and I can create a string. Okay, so these are the three different ways of creating a string. Okay, so we have used like an array of characters, like new keyword here, and here we didn't use like any new keyword, but here we have used new keyword. Okay, what is the difference between this string literal, okay, when we create an object like this or a string like this, and what is the difference here when we use the keyword new and creating a string? What is the difference between these two? Here we didn't use the new keyword, but here we have used a new keyword. What is the difference here? Okay, so for that one, let me open the PPT. Okay, so let's see this one. Okay, now let us say I have created a string like this. Okay, string, okay, str1 equals to something. In double quotes, I'm creating. Okay, but here I'm creating something like, okay, string str, okay, str2 equals to new string of selenium. What happens in these cases? Okay, so if we create something like this, okay, so string is nothing but an object. Okay, this is an object. String is an object. It is not a primitive data type. It's an object basically. Okay, so what happens in this case? Okay, we have where are the objects are stored in JVM? Where the objects are stored? It is in heap memory, right? Objects are stored in heap memory. Okay, and we have something called stack memory. Okay, so this str1, okay, what it does is first it will check, okay, if there is any value already there with the same value Java. Okay, for example, earlier, let us say I have created another string, some str10 is there with the same value Java. Okay, so Java is stored in the object is stored in the heap memory, and let's say the reference number is, let's say, some ABC 1010, and this reference value is stored here, ABC 1010. Okay, ABC 1010 is nothing but this is str10. Okay, earlier, like we already have like some variable with this one str10. Okay, str10 with value Java. So the value will be stored in Java and the reference will be stored in the stack memory. Okay, so str10 refers to this reference and this reference has this value Java. Okay, now when I create another string like this Java, so first it goes and checks in the heap memory whether we have an object already with this value. Okay, it checks here. Okay, we already have an object like this value. So what happens here in this case, it won't create a new object. It won't create a new object here because we already have a value. What it does is in the stack memory, the same reference value ABC1010 will be assigned to this str1. So it refers to the same reference. Understand this one? When we create a value like this, when we create a string object like this, string str1 equals to Java. Okay, it will, what it will does is like it will check the heap memory first. If we have a string already with this value Java, yes, we have already have a value Java, and this is the reference value. And in the stack memory, it assigns the same reference name to this variable. So now this also reference to this one. Okay, now let us say if we don't have anything like this, an existing value, then it will create a new value in the heap memory and it will assign that reference value to this one. Okay, so that is the case for this one. But what happens when we do this one, string str2 is equal to Selenium? Okay, what happens is, even though let us say we have another variable with the same one Selenium here. Okay, even though we have another variable abd some 2222. Okay, so even though we have another variable, string variable with the same name, it will create a new one because here we are using new. So even though we have one like this, it will still go ahead and create another value in the heap memory Selenium. Let us say some a j l something like 3333. So this will assign it to the str2 value, this reference. You understand the difference here? When we use like string literal, what happens first? When we create a string using string literal, first it will go and check the memory, heap memory, to see if there is an existing value available. If it is there, then it will assign the same memory reference to that new string. Otherwise, it will create a new object. But in case of uh, uh, when we create a new string using this new keyword, what happens? Even though there exists an existing value in the heap memory, it won't carry. It will go ahead and create a new one. Do you understand this one, everyone?
Yeah, it is clear. So
Okay. So that is the difference between the string literal and creating a string using new keyword. Okay, so we have seen these examples. What is the difference when we create a string with a string literal and strings with a new keyword? So we have seen this one. And strings are immutable. Okay, strings are immutable means they cannot be changed. Okay, let me show you that example. New slide. Okay, so strings are immutable. What does it mean by strings are immutable? Immutable means they cannot be changed. Okay, let us say I have created some string. Okay, or where does the string change? It will be stored in the, let's say I have created something with value Java. Okay, and it is stored here, and the reference value is ABC1010. Okay, and this is heap memory. Okay, now this reference value will be stored in the stack memory. Okay, so ABC1010. Okay, and let us say this one is str1. So string str1 is equal to Java. That means this Java value will be stored in the heap memory with the reference value, and this reference value will be stored in the stack memory. Okay, so you know until this point. Now strings are immutable. Okay, let's say this one is, let's say, string. Okay, str, sorry, okay, string str1 equals to, this is Java. Okay, so you are clear until this point, right? Okay, now let us say I'm doing, like, some str is equal to Java, right? So str1 is equal to, I'm assigning it to a new value, Selenium. So what happens in this case? See, original value that I have created, string str1 equals to Java, and then I am assigning this str1 to Selenium. What happens? Will it update this value? Will it update this value? No, it won't
No,
update.
it will not complete.
It will not update. What happens is, it will create another one, okay, with this one, Selenium, and with a new value, some ABD3333, something like this. Now what happens is, this value, this reference value in the stack memory will be updated with this one, ABD3333. Okay, now this str1 will refer to this new value, but it won't erase or it won't modify the existing value. That is why strings are called immutable. That means they cannot be changed, but they can be assigned new values. Okay, so when we say like this, what happens is, it won't update the existing value, but it will create a new value here, and this stack reference value will be updated to this new value. Now originally it is ABC1000, which is pointing to this one. Now it became ABD3333, so it is pointing to this new location in the heap memory. Okay, this value still be there in the heap memory until it is garbage collected by Java. Okay, that is why strings are called immutable. Okay, they cannot be changed, but they can be assigned to new values. Okay. Okay, so strings are immutable. Strings are immutable. That means they cannot be changed, but they can be assigned to new strings. Okay, okay. So these are all the string methods. Okay, you don't. I mean, when you are actually working, like, you don't need to remember, because the IDE that you use, it will suggest like all these methods. Okay, but for interview purpose, yes, you have to remember these methods. Okay, let me show you these methods. Okay, now let me create like another class. New class, I'll say string methods. Okay, and string methods. Okay, okay. Now let me create new string str1 is equal to Java Selenium. Okay, this is my new string I have created. Okay, so the first one is length method. So this length method can be used to find out the length of the string. Okay, the number of characters including space. Okay, so in this one, if you say this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13, 13 characters are there. Okay, so if I try to print system.out.println str1 dot, see, it will show you like all the methods. Okay, I want to use length method, so length. So if I use that one, it will print the length of the string. So I can say, I'll just say, okay, length of string is plus. Okay, so str1 dot length I can use. So if I run this one now, okay, run a Java application, and it will say length of string is 13. Okay, I can use length method. All you need to do is, like, you don't have to worry, like, when you are actually working, just str1 dot, if you use dot, like, it will show you, like, all these methods. There are like multiple methods on strings, so it will show you all these methods. Okay, so I'll show you like some important methods in this one. So one is the length method. If you want to get the length of the string, you can use this one. Okay, just give me like 2 minutes, guys. Okay, let me get some water and I'll come back. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm back. Okay, so okay, yeah, this is a length method we can use to get the length of the string. Okay. Okay, so the next one is let us see. Okay, index of. Okay, getting the index of a character and or a substring. So what does it mean by index? Okay, the character position, but index starts with 0. Okay, index starts with 0 in Selenium. For example, we have something like this. Okay, so the index is here The first one is 0, 1, 2, 3. And then again we have space. Let us say there is space. For space also we'll have an index which is 4. And then selenium, something like this. Okay. So 5, 6, 7, 8. So what is the index of A here? The index of A is 3. Okay. Index starts with 0. Okay. So we can use this index of method and then pass a character or a substring, and it will give the index of that particular character or substring. So let us say I'll say system.out.println. Okay, str1 dot index of, I can pass an integer or a string. Okay, so if I use this one, let us say I'm passing a character first, index of, let's say A. Okay, index of A. We have like multiple A's here, J, A, V, A. So it will get the first one. It will get the first one. So what is the index of A here? It is 1. Okay, so if I use this one, run as Java application, okay, and it will print 1. Okay, you can also pass a substring. For example, I can pass selenium here. So what is the index of this one? It is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From 5 it will start. Okay, so I have to use a substring here, so I have to use double quotes. Okay, single quotes are for characters only. Run as Java application and it will say 5. Okay, so index of method is used to find out the index of a particular character or a substring. Now character, if you want to find the character at a particular index, we can use char at and then we can pass the index value. For example, if I find like system.out.println, okay, str1 dot char at, okay, I would like to find the particular character at sixth index. So what is that one? This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have E. Okay. So if we run this one, it will print E. Okay. So it is printing E. So we can use char at to find out the character at a particular position in a string. Okay. So if you want to check if a particular string contains a substring or not, then you can use contains method. So if I use something like, if I want to check like whether this particular string contains the word selenium, okay, so then I can use system.out.println, okay, str1 dot contains, okay, contains, okay, selenium. Okay, it returns true or false. Since it contains like selenium, it returns true. Okay, run as Java application. Okay, it returns true because the string is containing selenium. Otherwise, it returns false. Okay, now ends with. Okay, we can check like if a particular string is ending with something. Okay, so I can use system.out.println str1 dot ends with, okay, let's say IUM. Okay, IUM. Okay, it returns true or false again. Okay, run as Java application and it will say true. Okay, let's say something like an ABCD. If the string is ending with ABCD or not, okay, it should return false. Run as Java application and it is false because it is not ending with ABCD. Okay, it is not ending with ABCD. Okay, so that is about ends with. Okay, and the next one is if I want to replace substrings, okay, I can use this replace all and replace first. For example, str1 dot, okay, replace, okay, replace. I can use a character to replace a character with a new character, and I can use a character sequence target and character sequence replacement. That means I can use like a string. Okay, I can use replace all, okay, to replace all the characters within this one, or all the substrings within the string, replace first only the first occurrence of a particular character or a string within a string. I can use all this. Okay. Let me show you this one. str1 dot replace. Okay. So within this one, I want to replace okay, Selenium with the keyword with the word training. Okay, so I'll say Selenium replaces Selenium with training. Okay, now it should become Java training. So if I print this one, system.out.println str1. Okay, let me see this one, Java application. Okay, this is still like, okay, so it replaces only here. Let me pass this one, but let me take. Yeah. Okay. See, either you have to assign it to a new variable string str2 equals to this one, and you can print system.out.println system.out.println str2. Okay. Run as Java application. Okay. Okay. So I can use the replace method to replace a character or a substring of a string with a different substring. So here, if you see str1 dot replace, I'm replacing Selenium by training. Are you guys able to hear me? I just didn't check like after I came back.
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're audible.
Okay. Okay, fine. Now, so this replace, like I'm replacing Selenium with training and I'm storing it in a new string and I'm printing that one. Okay, so now it became Java training. Okay, so sorry, guys. Let us say I want to replace like all the characters. What do we say? All these A characters with some character E. Okay, so I'll say system.out.println str1 dot replace all. Okay, replace all, and I'm replacing this all these characters A with all these characters like B. Let us say. Okay, and why this is throwing an error? This method replace all in the string is not applicable for the arguments character and character. Okay, let me see like what example I have given here. Replace all. Oh, okay. So this is applicable only for the strings. Okay, let me apply the string quotes here. Yeah. Okay, I'm replacing. Yeah, we should not use the characters here. We should use only strings in this one. Okay, so if I run this one now, okay, it will say JBVB. That means it is replacing all these characters A with B. Okay, JBVB. That's what we are seeing here. Okay, the another method is only the first character I want to replace, not all the characters. So I will use replace first. Okay, in this case, if we run this one, run as Java application. Okay, JBVA. It is not replacing the second character. It is replacing only the first character. Okay, now let us see the next methods which are two lowercase, two uppercase. Okay, so this is what I have. Okay, I would like to convert all these characters into the lowercase. Okay, here we have J capitals and S capitals. So I'll say system.out.println str1.to lowercase. Okay, this is what we have. Okay, if I run this one, run as Java application, so everything will come in lowercase only. Okay, similarly, if we want to convert everything to uppercase dot to uppercase. Okay, Now everything will convert to uppercase. Java application. Okay. Java Selenium. Everything is converted to uppercase. Okay. This is one more method. Okay. So this is an example like that I have given here. Okay. Converting a string to an integer. Okay. So how do we convert a string to an integer? Okay. Let me create another example here. So which is class. Okay. String example2. Okay, and this is main method I'm using. So string example2. And now what I will do is, let's say I have a string str1 is equal to, I have something like 100. Okay, so what is this one? This is an integer, this is a number basically, but this is within double quotes. So this is a string. Okay, this is a number, but this is within double quotes. So this is a string. This is called numeric string. Okay, numeric string. Okay, and if I want to perform any operations on this one, I cannot do this one because this is a string. Suppose I want to multiply this value with 10, I cannot do it because this is a string. So first what I have to do, I have to convert this to a number, to an integer. How do I do it? Okay, I have something called, I'm creating a new variable int a is equal to, okay, now I have something called integer dot parse int. So integer dot parse int. Okay, if you see this one, let me show you one more time. Okay, integer dot parse int. See, integer dot parse int, it is taking a string as an as a parameter, as an argument, and it is returning an integer back. Okay, so I can use integer dot parse int, and I can pass this value str1. Okay, now if I say system.out.println a star 10, it will work. Okay, if I run this one now, run as 1000. Okay, so if I want to convert sorry, if I want to convert a string to an integer, I use integer dot parse int. Do you understand this one, or any questions here?
It
Any
is clear,
questions?
sir.
Okay. Okay, I use integer dot parse int. Okay, in order to use this integer dot parse int, the string should be a numeric string. If it is not a numeric string, for example, I have something like Java. This is not a numeric string. Okay, if you apply this method on a numeric string, okay, it will throw number format exception. Okay, because it is not a numeric string. When you try to convert a non-numeric string to an integer using integer.parseInt method, you will get number format exception. Okay, so if you want to use this integer.parseInt method, the string should be a numeric string. Okay, remember that one. Okay, number format exception. If you try to convert a non-number string, that means non-numeric string, okay, to an integer, you will get this exception. Okay, now substrings in Java. Okay, there is one method called substring. In Java, you can get the substring of a string using substring method. Okay, if you pass only the starting index of for this method, you will get a substring starting from the index you provided till the end of the string. Okay, or you can pass a starting index and also an ending index. Okay, let me show you this one. Let me go to this string methods. Okay, in this one we have Java and Selenium. Okay, this is what we have. For example, I would like to get the substring of this one starting from index, okay, 0 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, starting from index 5. That means I want to get this whole thing. Okay, Selenium. So in that case, I can use system sorry, sorry. Okay, okay, system.out.println. Okay, str1 dot, you can use substring, and I can pass beginning index. So what is the beginning index here? The beginning index is 5. Okay, I can pass this one. Now if I run this one, run as Java application. Okay, it will get me starting from this index 5 till the end of the string. So I'm getting like selenium. Okay, and if I want to get only not to the end, but only up to some length, okay, I can pass the ending index also. I can pass something like 5 comma 7. Okay, 5 comma 7. What happens? Run as Java application. It will give me only the index, okay, between this starting from 5 until 7. Okay, it won't include the seventh one, the index, the ending index. That means it will get only the values from 5 and 6, not 7. That is why, see, S is 5, E is 6, L is 7, but it's not getting L here because the ending index won't be included in this one. When you pass an ending index to a substring, the ending index won't be included in that substring. So it will return only until that one, not the ending index. Okay, so this is about substring method. Okay, now comparing two strings. How do you compare two strings? Okay, how do you compare like two values? Anyone? How do we compare two values? We have seen this one earlier.
Compare operator,
I'm sorry.
double equal.
Yes, double equal to operator. Okay, so let us say I'm creating a new example here. New class. Okay, so let me tell you this one string example 3. Okay, let us say I have two values, int a equals to 10, int b equals to 10. Okay, how do I compare both the values? I'll use double equals to, if a double equals to b, okay, system.out.println, the both values are equal. Okay, else I'll use an else condition, system.out, okay, both values are not equal. Okay, so I use a double equals to conditional operator to check if these values are same or not. Okay, so if I run this one, okay, then it says since both values are equal, both values are equal. But in case of strings, okay, let me show you this one. Okay, string str1 equals to new string of hello. Okay, string str2 equals to new string of hello. Okay, so if str1 equals to str2, okay, system.out.println, both strings are same. Okay, else system.out.println, both strings are not same. Okay, so here I have created two strings, hello and hello. So both values are same. So what do we expect here? We expect that it should print both strings are same. Let me run this one. Let me comment this one. Okay, we don't let me comment this one. Okay, let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, so what is it printing here? What is it printing?
Both strings are same.
No,
Not same.
not same. It is printing not same, even though the values are same. Okay, hello and hello. It is printing both values are not same. Why it is printing both values are not same? Here we are seeing that both are same, right? Both are hello and hello. Both are same actually. Why it is printing? Because we are using double equals to. For strings, we should not use double equals to. We should use dot equals. Okay, let me tell you this one. Let me explain you this one. Okay. Okay, so what happens like now when I create a string, this is the event. Okay, so this is like right. First, a string with the keyword new. So it will be stored in this memory. Hello. Okay, let us say this values ABC 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I have created another one with the same value hello, and let us say this one is A B D 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now these reference variables will be stored in the stack memory. So this is A B C 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this is str1. Okay, and the second reference variable is A B D 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, str2. Okay, so what happens is when we use double equals to method, okay, it compares these reference variables. Okay, so when we say if string str1 double equals to str2, where does it compare? It compares these values. Even though these values hello and hello are equal, it compares these values. So what is the value here we have? We have ABC 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the value we have? ABD 1, 2, 3, 4. That is why it is saying that these values are not equal. Understand? So if we use double equals to an objects, okay, it will compare the reference values, not the actual values. At this point, that is why it is saying that these values are not equal, because anyhow the reference values are not equal here, right? Okay, so in order to compare these actual values, we have to use dot equals method. Okay, so we have to use if str1 dot, okay, equals str2. This is what we have to use. This equals method we have to use on objects. Okay, when it is an object, double equals to is used to compare the primitive values like a is equal to 10, b is equal to 10, both are equal, then we can use double equal to, but we cannot use double equals to method on object, because if we use double equal to value, it tries to compare the reference values, not the actual values. If you want to compare the actual values, we have to use dot equals method. Okay, so now what I will do is I will just let me comment this one line. Then I'll say if str1 dot equals str2. Okay, so now I am using dot equals method, and now it will also originally it printed both strings are not same. Now if I run this one, run as Java application, okay, and it says both strings are same. Okay, you see this, both strings are same. Now it is printing both strings are same, because we are using equals method. Here it will compare the actual values. Okay, now let us say I have something like this one. Okay, HELLO, capital H is there, small h is there. So if we run this one now, again this will fail, because we have small h in the first place and a capital H in the next string. That is why it is saying both strings are same. But while comparing, I want to ignore the case. So I can use dot equals ignore case. Okay, so if okay str1 dot equals ignore case, the second one equals ignore case of str2. Okay, that means what we are saying is just ignore the case while comparing. Okay, now if we run this one, run as Java application, yes, both strings are same. That means it is ignoring the case here, and everything is capitals. Okay, so first one is a small hello, small caps hello. Second one is a okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just getting a call. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you are.
Everyone, like, am I audible? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, Subina.
Yeah, you are audible.
Went wrong. Sorry, Ankur, am I audible or am I not audible?
You are audible, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Because no one is responding actually. That's why I'm asking again and again. Okay.
No, no, now we can hear you, Subina.
Okay,
Actually,
fine.
you are responding, but I think you are not able to hear us.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah. So here, like, we have used all capital letters. Okay. And here we have used all small letters. Okay. So we can use equal ignore case while comparing this one. Okay. So now you understand, like, the difference between actual double equals to method, what happens when we use this double equals to method, and what happens when we use equals method. Okay. So if it is normal primitive data types, we have this double, we can use, we can use, like, we have to use this double equals to method. But if it is objects, we have to use equals method. Okay. Okay, fine. Now let me go into this one. Okay, so that is about comparison of, like, strings. Okay, concatenating the two strings. How do we concatenate? We have already seen this one earlier, one of these methods. Let us say I have, like, two strings here. Okay, I have, let us say, like, string str3 equals to, okay, let us say Java. Okay, and another one is string str4 equals to Selenium. Okay, and then I'll say I can use system dot out dot println. Okay, system dot out dot println. I can use str3 and plus symbol str4. Okay, I can use plus symbol to concatenate two strings. Okay, so now if I run this one, run as Java Selenium. Okay, I can use, this is Java Selenium. Okay, I have concatenated these two strings. Okay, I can also use concatenate method. There is one method called concatenate. So system dot out dot println. Okay, str3 dot concat and then str4. Okay, I can use this also. Okay, str3 dot concat str4. Okay, if I run this one, okay, then I'll get Java Selenium. So I can use either plus symbol between two strings or concat method to concatenate two strings. Okay, so that's one thing. Java string checking. Yeah, if we want to check, like, if a string is a substring of other string. Okay, for example, I have something like string str5. Okay, I have something like Java Selenium. Okay, I would like to check if this string contains the word Selenium or not. Okay, I can do it in two ways. One is contains method I can use, or I can use index of. Okay, if I use contains method, okay, let us say system.out.println, okay, str5 dot contains. Okay, I'm just checking if this str5 is containing the substring Selenium. Okay, so I'm just it will return true or false. So it will print, if it contains, it will print true, otherwise it will print false. Okay, so this is true. That means this string is containing this Selenium. For example, let me delete something, Selenium. Okay, something. Okay, let me run this one, run as Java application, and it is printing false here. Okay, now using index of. Okay, index of returns the index of the character or substring. We have seen this one previously, right? So let us say Selenium. I'm using the same thing, Selenium. Okay, first let me get this index of. Okay, index of. Okay, so it gets the index, starting index of this word in this one. So if I run this one, run as Java application. Okay, Now it is printing 5. The index is 5 because it starts from 0, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5, Selenium. Okay, so now if I go here, Java, Selenium. Okay, so how do I find out? Like it is giving the index. So if it doesn't have this one, let us say I'm removing like one letter from here, and I am running this one. Run a Java application, and it is printing -1. Okay, if you see, this is printing -1. So what I can do, I can use something like the condition if okay, if str5 dot index of this word is greater than or equals to 0. Okay, greater than or equal to 0. Okay, then we can say system dot out dot println okay, substring exists. Substring exists. Okay, else, that means else means it returns -1. Okay, system dot out dot println, okay, substring doesn't exist. Understand this one? Because if the index is there, it returns a value starting from 0. Okay, if it is not there, it returns a value -1. So we can create a condition saying that, okay, we can create a condition saying that if the index of is greater than or equal to 0, substring exists, else substring doesn't exist. Run as Java application. So here substring doesn't exist. Okay, because we are using SELENUM. For example, if we use the correct one, SELENIUM, okay, then it will return, okay, it will return the index of this one. So index is definitely greater than or equal to 0. So if I run this one, it will give substring exists. Okay, so this is how we can check whether a substring exists or not. Okay, so this is all about strings. Okay, it's very easy concept. All you have to know is you have to remember the different methods within this one. Okay, how do you compare two strings? Okay, equals method. What happens if you use double equals to symbol to compare two strings? Okay, it compares the reference values, not the actual values. Okay. Okay, so what is the time now? So it's already 8:01. Okay, so just practice like all these examples. Tomorrow we'll see the interview questions. Okay, interview questions on strings, and we'll proceed with the arrays and collections. Tomorrow I will try to cover these arrays and collections. Okay, these both are like very important. Okay, and tomorrow is like Thursday, right? And Friday we will see these exceptions and file operations. Okay, database from next Monday onwards I'll start with Selenium, but I'll cover like all these topics one by one, these remaining topics. Okay, until file operations it is important, it is very important, because the questions will be asked based on until this topic. But the other things I have they are useful for you when you are really working. For example, we use a random class. If you want to create like random strings, we can use this one. Similarly, like integer class or character class, we use them, but people may not ask like these things in interview. Okay, very rarely they will ask questions on these ones. Okay, but still it's better if you know these things. It will be useful for you when you are really working on this. Okay, so until file operations I will cover by this Friday, and from Monday onwards I'll start with Selenium. But when starting the Selenium, I will cover like these topics like one by one. Okay, that means like around 15 to 30 minutes I'll cover these topics, and then the remaining time I'll cover the Selenium topics. Okay, okay, so any questions, guys? Anyone, any questions? Did you guys understand like whatever we have covered today?
Yeah, it is
Yes,
clear.
yes.
Okay, okay, fine, yeah. Okay then, we'll meet again tomorrow. Okay, thank you guys, thank you, bye bye.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Subbu.
Yeah.